Xbox have dropped some massive sales onto the Xbox Store this current week, and there are a ton of huge games that are down to their lowest prices that we've ever seen. From mammoth AAA games, insane AA's, and even some highly sought after indies, this sale is one of the best I've seen in quite some time. Today I'll be bringing you 18 of these games that I highly recommend, and I apologise for your wallet and backlog in advance. Before we dive in though, I do host a free Xbox game giveaway every single week here on these sales videos. All you have to do is leave a comment below about anything related to Xbox. Congratulations to last week's winner, just hit me up on our Discord server and I'll get that game right over to you. Now with that out of the way, let's dive right into the incredible deals you need to check out for this week. First up, I recommend that you step into the neon-soaked underbelly of Night City with Cyberpunk 2077. This is a sprawling open-world RPG set in a dystopian future ruled by tons of megacorporations and street gangs. You will take control as V, and you can tailor your cybernetic body, skills, and backstory to carve your own path through a city teeming with corruption, danger, and opportunity. The game's main quest intertwines with deep side stories, romances, and life or death situations that really do ripple across the entire world. Recent patches and the Phantom Liberty expansion have brought massive improvements in performance and also polish, really turning it into the game that fans have originally hoped for. With Keanu Reeves as the iconic Johnny Silverhand and a rich sci-fi narrative, this is one of the most immersive and visually dazzling RPGs in recent years. It's only £20 with 60% off this week, and it's the lowest price we've ever seen before and the perfect moment to experience it all. Titanfall 2 might have launched under the radar, but it's quickly gained very big cult status thanks to its jaw-dropping campaign and lightning-fast multiplayer. The single-player mode stands out for its creativity though, as each level introduces brand new mechanics like time manipulation or puzzle platforming, and it really keeps you guessing right up into the finale. But it's the relationship between the pilot Jack Cooper and Titan BT that gives the game such an emotional weight beyond its explosive moments. When it comes to competitive play as well, the multiplayer really is a masterclass in speed and flow, blending parkour, gunplay, and massive mech-on-mech brawls into one of the tightest FPS packages I've ever seen. For just £2.99 at 85% off, you're getting a AAA experience that still rivals today's best shooters. Horror meets horde shooter in Sker Ritual, a spine-chilling spin-off from the Maid of Sker. The gameplay here is actually wave-based, but the atmosphere is anything but typical. It's steeped in Welsh folklore and gothic dread, and every round feels like a descent into madness. Whether you're playing it solo or in 4-player co-op, you'll be going up against some eldritch horrors using steampunk-style weapons and mystical buffs, with each match escalating both difficulty and its intensity. There's tons of perks, weapon upgrades, and also a great player customization option that offers plenty of replay value, while the game's creepy visuals and eerie sound design set it apart from other zombie wave shooters. It's now down to £11.99, which is 40% off, and this is the lowest price we've seen since its launch last year. It really is a great pickup if you want your scares served alongside some solid action. Kingdom 2 Grounds is currently an Xbox Game Pass, but if you haven't had a chance to play it or you don't have a Game Pass subscription, it's well worth picking up for this week. This game actually blends minimalist strategy with gorgeous pixel art and a surprisingly deep world building system. You're basically playing as a monarch on horseback, and you'll be exploring and expanding across procedurally generated lands, collecting different coins, hiring villagers, and defending your empire against a nightly onslaught of shadowy creatures. Each new biome that you explore introduces new mechanics and surprises as well, really rewarding you if you take your time to master its intricacies. With the ability to play either solo or in couch or online co-op, the experience scales beautifully from relaxed sessions to more focused strategic planning ones. It's the kind of game that does reveal more every single time that you play it, and at just £3.99 it's well worth diving into. Now, forget conventional guns. Immortals of Aveum throws you into a visually spectacular magic-fueled shooter where you're blasting spells instead of bullets. In this one, you play as Jack, a battle mage caught in a century-old conflict, armed with 3 schools of color-coded magic that allow for fast, fluid combat and inventive combo play. It's a rare blend of fantasy and FPS that feels both familiar but also very refreshing, with a story that leans heavily into cinematic flair and a world that really bursts with tons of personality. The gameplay of course is packed with high octane set pieces, some really cool lore-rich environments, and upgradable gear systems that add progression without overcomplication. This one was heavily underrated when it really launched, and it was a shame to see the studio actually go under. It's well worth supporting them at 85% off this week, as it brings it down to just £10.50, and to be honest, this really is your moment to dive into one of the boldest genre mashups of the last year. This next game I actually got to play on Google Stadia when it was an exclusive at the time, but it actually came to Xbox about 3 years ago now, and I have to say I really did enjoy this one. Hello Engineer is actually a very quirky physics-based builder that trades the combat for creativity. It's set in the same universe as the other Hello Neighbor games, but this one actually drops you into a junkyard and hands you the tools to build some wild contraptions, bizarre vehicles, and problem-solving machines to complete a variety of wacky objectives. Whether you're working solo or just teaming up with your friends in co-op, every challenge here demands inventive thinking and a dash of trial and error. Beyond the silliness though, there's actually a real surprising amount of depth here in the building mechanics, and it encourages both chaotic fun and also some pretty clever engineering. It's really colourful, it's of course offbeat and filled with oddball charm, and it's perfect for fans of puzzles, construction, and unconventional gameplay. It's now at its lowest price ever at just £4.37, and it's a bargain for creative minds who love experimentation. No Man's Sky has really undergone one of the most impressive evolutions in gaming history. What really began as a lonely space exploration game with some pretty poor bugs and quality of life improvements became a vast universe teeming with life, base building, multiplayer, mech suits, and so much more. You can explore billions of procedurally generated planets, each with their own ecosystems, weather patterns, and also deep secrets. The game's visuals and UI have been massively upgraded as well for the Xbox Series X and S consoles, and the new content keeps rolling out with tons of free updates. With its deep crafting systems along with trade routes and planetary customization, it supports both short sessions and long-term investment. You could either put in 1 hour here, 2 hours there, or you could put in hundreds of hours and still have loads to explore. Whether you're a peaceful builder or you want to be a rebel pirate raider, the Galaxy offers something here for everyone. It's now down to just £16, and there's never been a better time to suit up and chart your course amongst the stars. This next game is as good as gaming gets. The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is an open world RPG masterpiece, and it's one game that I'll highly recommend to you to this day. This one blends some incredible lore, nuanced characters, and one of the best narratives ever told in this medium. In this one, of course, as you may be aware, you play as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter for hire, navigating a war-torn world full of political intrigue and superhuman threats. Every single quest here, and I mean it seriously, main or side, feels incredibly meaningful, and the choices you make genuinely matter. The game also includes Gwent, which is an in-depth card game that took on a life of its own. Toss in some rich combat, alchemy systems, and dynamic weather that affects combat conditions, and you've got an adventure that rarely ever slows down. We are seeing an unbelievable 90% off this week, bringing it down to just £2.50, which is less than the price of coffee, and this is one of the best deals you'll find on this critically acclaimed epic. It's an essential pickup for anyone who loves RPGs, fantasy, or just incredible storytelling, and if you haven't ever experienced this game, it's well worth diving into. Keeping in the same vein with some insane deals, Battlefield 4 still holds up as one of the most explosive and large-scale multiplayer shooters out on the market. With Battlefield 6 arriving later this year or into early 2026, it's well worth revisiting Battlefield 4 to see what everyone holds as the real greatness. Featuring massive maps, destructible environments, and vehicle warfare that includes the likes of tanks, helicopters, jets, and more, the game's 64-player battles are chaotic in the best way possible. The campaign in this one may actually be a little bit short, but the real meat here is in the online action, where squads coordinate to capture objectives or bring down entire skyscrapers. It has tons of dynamic weather effects and that signature Levolution, which was included in Battlefield 4 for the first time, which actually drastically alters maps mid-battle, making every match feel intense and incredibly cinematic. The servers here surprisingly are still incredibly active, and the gameplay remains very fast, fluid, and satisfyingly tactical. At just 74p, a staggering 95% off, it's practically free at this point, and is well worth looking into if you want to dive back into one of the best entries in the Battlefield series. Now, Call of the Sea is down to its lowest price ever at just £5.02, and it really is a moving experience that's as intelligent as it is stunning. This game was actually a launch exclusive for the Xbox Series X and S consoles back in 2020. It's essentially a beautifully told first-person puzzle adventure game set on a lush, mysterious island in the 1930s. In this one though, you'll play as a woman called Nora, who's searching for her missing husband as she uncovers ancient ruins, cryptic symbols, and visions that challenge her grip on reality. It's quite slow paced but very reflective, and does lean heavily into Lovecraftian mystery without falling into too much of a horror aspect. The story really did stick with me and is deeply personal. You'll be doing everything from unraveling it in journal entries, using visual clues, and also environmental storytelling that rewards your observation. I really loved the hand-painted art style, and when you combine that with an emotional voice performance and clever environmental puzzles, this makes it a perfect choice for fans of Myst or Firewatch. Tales of Kenzera Zau is a deeply personal and visually arresting action platformer that blends the likes of Metroidvania exploration with a moving story about grief, healing, and legacy. In this one though, you play as Zau, a young shaman who must navigate dangerous realms of spirit and shadow, wielding powers granted by the sun and moon masks. The game's art direction is really striking, as you can see on screen now. It's filled with tons of vibrant color palettes, symbolic designs, and rhythmic animations that evoke both myth and modernity. Backtracking is really encouraged though through this one, with newly acquired abilities, rewarding you with both narrative depth but also optional challenges. I have to say, upon playing this one for a couple of hours, it has some incredibly tight controls, and the well-placed platforming make it such a joy to play. That heartfelt narrative really does keep the emotional stakes high, and I know this one is going to be a solemn one towards the end. It is now at its lowest price ever at just £7.19, and it looks like a very thoughtful, engaging journey that stands out in this platforming genre. If you're wanting a more Tim Burton-esque indie platformer, then I have to show you Lost in Random. It's a bizarre and beautiful action-adventure game set in the Kingdom of Random, where every fate is determined by the roll of a die. You play as Even, a brave young girl on a quest to rescue her sister, with only a living dice companion named Dicey at your side. As you can see right now, the combat is a sort of mix between real-time and tactical moments. You can pause the action to roll Dicey and draw from a deck of magical cards that do transform the overall battlefield. The game really extends it with its creativity and its world building, with tons of twisted villages, some really surreal characters, and also the eerie environments that have still stuck with me to this day. Between its richly illustrated cutscenes though, alongside that clever level design and card-based strategy, the game looks to craft a unique and memorable experience, and I can really attest to that. At 85% off and down to just under £4, it's a uniquely crafted fairy tale that's both eerie and enchanting. An indie gem that really does go under the radar, which left Xbox Game Pass a couple of years ago now but is well worth diving into, is none other than Sable. This one actually stripped away the combat and pressure in favour of introspection and exploration, letting you actually wander a vast desert on a hoverbike during a coming-of-age ritual. In this one though, you'll be meeting tons of strange nomads. You'll be also exploring ancient ruins and earn masks that shape your path, all without a single fight. I have to say, and from what you're probably seeing on screen now, the game's cel-shaded Mobius-inspired art style and atmospheric soundtrack is absolutely incredible, and is very dreamlike with a sense of calm and discovery. There's tons of puzzles here, alongside some lore and environmental storytelling which unfold at your very own pace, allowing for a truly meditative gameplay loop, similar in fact to Journey. There's no combat here or traditional objectives. Sable is actually more about the journey rather than the destination. It's more of a gentle, thought-provoking adventure that rewards your curiosity, and at £6.29 it really is well worth picking up if you want to lose yourself in a surreal, soulful world. One of my favourite Xbox One generation exclusives is finally on sale for this week, and believe it or not, this deluxe edition is actually the lowest price we've ever seen before. We haven't seen a price drop like this over the past 5 years, so it's well worth picking up if you want to have it at a very low price. If you're actually craving chaos with a side of neon, Sunset Overdrive delivers that in spades. It's set in a city that's actually overrun by energy-drinking mutants, and you'll be grinding, bouncing, and blasting your way through a comic book apocalypse with incredible style. Of course, as you're well aware, this isn't your average shooter. It's more about the speed, verticality, and absurd weaponry, like exploding teddy bears and vinyl record launchers. This is actually a game coming from Insomniac before they were purchased by PlayStation, so it's the last game we're actually going to see on Xbox, I feel, for quite some time. You'll earn everything here from style points for chaining together kills and also getting some awesome cosmetic items alongside that incredible storied campaign. The deluxe edition though, which I'm highlighting today, actually included every single bit of DLC, giving you even more wild missions and customization options. As I mentioned, this is the lowest price we've seen so far, and it's just £3.99, and this is one of the most underrated action games on all of Xbox. Cassette Beasts took the familiar monster catching formula that we know and love and really flipped it on its head with a clever twist. Instead of capturing creatures like you would do in other games in the genre, you actually transform them into using retro cassette tapes. It's set on a mysterious island where escape does seem impossible, but the game mixes lovely turn-based combat, puzzle exploration, and a surprisingly heartfelt story. Each beast that you record also has unique elemental traits, and you can fuse the two together mid-battle to create hybrids with their own abilities and their unique appearances. There's also a really compelling loop of exploration. I found that there was also a ton of team building as well, and uncovering hidden secrets, and it's all wrapped up in that beautiful pixel art aesthetic. The charming pixel art style really did appeal to me, and it has a banging synth soundtrack. It feels like Pokemon meets Persona, but with that incredibly cool indie edge. At £8.37 with 50% off, this is the best price we've ever seen, and it's well worth it for RPG fans seeking something new. Now, one game I wasn't actually aware of until recording this video was Fae Farm, and this actually looks like a blend of cozy life sim mechanics with light RPG mechanics to create a magical farming adventure, which is perfect for fans of games like Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing. It seems to have incredibly high reviews across the platform, so it's well worth picking up at the £16.24 price tag this week. This one though, if you're wondering, is set in the enchanted world of Azoria, and you'll be doing everything from farming, crafting, fishing, and making new friends with the charming townsfolk. You'll also be doing all of that while exploring the mystical realms and battling some magical threats. The game does support what looks like to be drop-in and drop-out multiplayer, letting you build, explore, and adventure together with your friends. It seems like upon doing some research that the customization is pretty deep here, with tons of outfits, furniture, and housing upgrades to make the world feel uniquely yours. The art style I absolutely kind of love, and is very warm and inviting, and has that cool fantasy twist that brings the entire setting to life. As I mentioned, it's now £16.24, and it's the first ever discount we've seen on Xbox, and this is a fantastic pick for players looking to unwind and something whimsical and full of charm. With Mafia the Old Country releasing this August, I thought it was well worth highlighting Mafia III Definitive Edition in this sale, as believe it or not, this is the lowest price for it we've ever seen. This game offers a gritty crime story set in the turbulent American South of 1968. It follows Vietnam vet Lincoln Clay on his quest for revenge against the Italian mob. It's more of an open world experience though than Mafia 2, with a more stronger narrative core, focusing heavily on character development, period accurate detail, and a killer soundtrack loaded with 60s classics. While the gameplay is really rooted in cover-based shooting and stealth, it's the story and the world building that really set it apart for me. The Definitive Edition as well includes all of the extra DLC, expanding the campaign with new missions, side characters, and also weaponry, and it also saw an Xbox Series X and S patch not too long ago. With its cinematic storytelling and richly detailed setting, it delivers such a unique spin on open world crime genres, and you can grab it now at just under £5. Now, Art of Rally isn't your typical racing game, it's more of a love letter to the golden era of rally driving, and upon playing this with myself, I heavily recommend it. It has a very clean, minimalist aesthetic that highlights both speed and serenity. It's also set across some stylized locations like Finland, Japan, and Kenya, and you'll be taking on tight corners and loose gravel in dozens of classic cars inspired by real-world legends. For me, the isometric camera and simplified design make it feel so zen-like, while still demanding your precision and your mastery. There's everything here from time trials, free roam, and also an expansive career mode keeping you coming back, and the synth-heavy soundtrack elevates the relaxed but intense vibe. Whether you're chasing leaderboard times or simply vibing through dirt roads, this is racing distilled to its artistic core. It's now at its lowest price ever with 50% off, and it's a perfect pick for casual racers and purists alike. So, what game tickles your pickle in this Xbox Store sale? You'll have to let me know in the comments below. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Xbox content like this every single day. Whilst here though, why don't you check out the video on screen now, as I covered the huge Xbox update happening over the last week. There's a ton of news here, from the rumoured Xbox handheld, new games being announced, and so much more, so you definitely won't want to miss out.